Hey everyone, so today we're going to be making a Bitcoin tracker in SwiftUI. So in one of my previous vids, I already created this in UIKit, and if you haven't checked that out, we can go ahead and drop a link to the end of the video description so you can feel free to take a look. But today we're going to be focusing on SwiftUI. And right here is the finished product. So as you can see, it still works. So let's go ahead and get started right away with this. Okay, so here I have opened a brand new project, and we're just going to go ahead and create a new file. And we're going to call this one Bitcoin data. Okay, now here we're going to go ahead and create a struct, call that also Bitcoin data, and we're going to make it conform to codable. And if we look closely at the JSON data here, so this is the API we're going to be using in blockchain. I'll go ahead and provide that link in the description as well. And this is how we're going to take a look at how the JSON is. So if you've already watched my last video, you already know how to parse this. But if this is your first time seeing, what we want here is the buy and the symbol. So we can go ahead and write that out. So let's go ahead and write let buy, and buy is of type double, and let symbol is of type string. And just to make things easier, I'm going to go ahead and make a type alias, and we're just going to call this Bitcoin, and it's going to be a dictionary. So it's going to be a type string and type Bitcoin data. Alright, so now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and make one more new file. Make sure it's a Swift file, and we'll just go ahead and call this one API. Okay, so now that we're in here, we're going to go ahead and create our class. It's going to be a class API, and we do have to make sure it conforms to observable object. So observable objects is that way, so anything that's listening to our class can be alerted when any values change. That way our user interface can be updated. And we are going to have to import SwiftUI in here instead of Foundation. So we're going to go ahead and start out by creating our method to go ahead and fetch our crypto data. So we'll just do fetch crypto data, and we'll do a completion handler here. So completion escaping, and we're going to use this little generic here. So Bitcoin, remember that's our type alias that we created earlier, and we return nothing there. And then we're going to do a guard let URL equals URL type string. That way we're safely unwrapping this. And then the string is going to be the API. Remember, it's in the video description. And then else return here. And afterwards we'll go ahead and create our URL session .share .data task. And we're going to want the one with the completion handler. So go ahead and do with URL, and our completion handler, just hit enter to complete the closure. We'll do data, response, and error. So we'll do if let error equals error, completion dot failure, and then we'll get that error, and then we'll return now. And now we need to safely unwrap our data. So we'll do guard let save data equals data else return, and then we'll do catch, and we'll just quickly fill out the catch block. So we'll do, let's say, completion dot failure, and then we'll print out that error. And then our do block is where we'll actually go ahead and do our JSON decoder. So we'll do let Bitcoin equals try JSON decoder dot decode, and we'll do our Bitcoin, remember that's our type alias again, from save data, the one we unwrapped over here. And then we'll do completion dot success, and then our Bitcoin. And then right over here, we want to make sure we don't forget, we have to call dot resume. Okay, so our network call is done. Okay, with our network call out of the way, we're going to go ahead and create a couple of arrays that's going to store the currency code, the buying price, and all the symbols. And we're going to have to mark these with published. So var currency code is going to be of type an array of string. And then create one for the buying price. And the buying price is going to be also an array, but it's going to be an array of doubles. And lastly, our symbol array, that one is going to be also type string. So publish pretty much means is whenever something changes, it notifies all of the listeners. So anything that's listening to this for updates, it's going to notify it. And then right below here, we're going to have to create our initializer. So we'll do init, and then we'll do fetch crypto data. We'll go ahead and call our method that we just created down here and press enter for the completion handler. And then go ahead and just do Bitcoin in, and then we'll do a switch statement. Switch on Bitcoin, and then we'll do case.success. So if this was successful, let currency, and then do currency.forEach, and then go ahead and press enter again to complete that. And we'll do currencies in, and we're going to have to go ahead and do this on the main thread. So do dispatch queue.main.async, and do self.currencycode.append, and then we're going to do currencies, the one right up here, currencies dot key, self dot symbol array dot append currencies, but this time instead of dot key we're going to use dot value, and then dot symbol. And then for the buying price, same thing, except this time we're going to switch it from dot value dot symbol to dot value dot buy. And then we also have to include a case in case this fails. So we're going to go ahead and do case.failure in case it does fail, and then do error, and then just print out failed to fetch Bitcoin data, and then the error. Okay, now with all this out of the way, we can finally move on over to our content view. Okay, so here in our content view, we're going to go ahead and adjust the UI a bit. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this in our body, and we'll go ahead and create a VStack, and we'll put a text, and this is just going to be filler for now. We'll just put text hello, and the font, we're going to change the font by adding some modifiers to it. So we'll go ahead and do font.system, and we'll give it a size of, let's say 30. And then right below it, we're going to put in our text field, and it's going to say enter amount. And for the text, we put $amount. It's going to give you an error because we don't have this yet, but we'll go ahead and add it right up here. So we'll do add state private var amount. It's going to be of type string, and it's going to be set first to an empty string. And now that error should go away. And then we'll do text field style just to make it look a little bit nicer. We'll do rounded border text field style. And then we'll go ahead and do .keyboard type. Since it's just going to be numbers, we're going to change it to a decimal pad just to prevent user error. And then we'll add some padding to it. And then down below us, we're going to make our picker view. But in order to do that, we're going to have to create another property. Do add state private var picker selection, and then set this to 0. And then right above this, we're going to do not add state, but observed object, not observable object, observed object. And this is going to be set to our API. And we're going to need this so we can access all the currency codes in our array. That way we can fill it up on the picker view. So we're going to do right below the text field, we'll do picker. And we'll do just put an empty string there, and then for the selection, we'll do $ picker selection, and then here we'll do a for each 0 ... to API currency code count, and then we'll do let currency equals API currency code, and then $0, and then the text that's going to occupy it is going to be currency. And then for our picker, we're also going to want to add these two modifiers. So .id, and this is going to be a UUID. .labels is hidden, labels hidden. And overall, we'll just apply some padding to the VStack as well. So if we go ahead and update this, so we can see how our UI looks like now. So it looks pretty good. It looks a little too bunched up here. So we'll go ahead and add a spacer at the top of the text. Okay, so that looks a little better. We can probably add a spacer in between the text and the text field. And with that, that pretty much looks as good. You can go ahead and play around with this a little bit more if you want the UI to look better. But so far, as you can see now as well, our picker view has all our currency codes in here. So now comes the final part, and that's just to go ahead and do the math here. So let's go ahead and do var total of type double, because it's going to be a computer property and we're going to expect it to return a double. And we're going to do guard API.bind price, and then .count, and it has to be greater than 0. This is just so our program doesn't crash. And if it's not, let's say this has loaded up before our network call is finished, we don't have to get any index out of range errors. So then here we're going to do let bind price equal to API.bind price, and then the index is going to be the one in our picker selection. I'm going to do let amount, or let's do let double amount. Not the best variable name, but just for tutorial purposes, we'll go ahead and do this. And then we'll do double. We're going to cast the amount as a double, and we'll go ahead and give it a default value just in case this is nil or for whatever reason this is going to crash. It has this to fall back on. And then we'll do let total amount equal the buying price multiplied by the double amount, and then we'll just go ahead and return that total amount. And as you can see here, we are indeed returning a double. Now we just need to repeat the process for the currency symbols. So we'll go ahead and do var symbol, but we're going to be returning a string this time. And we'll do guard API dot symbol array dot count, make sure it's above 0, else return, but instead of returning 0, we're going to return an empty string. And then we'll do let current symbol equals API dot symbol array picker selection, and then we'll return the current symbol. And now we just need to replace this text here, the one that says hello, and we'll do string interpolation. The symbol is going to be the first thing, and then afterwards we're going to add the total, and we're going to put in a specifier here. That way it gets rounded off to 2 decimal places. And now when we run the application, as you can see, our currency symbols are changing. So we have that for Japanese yen, we have this for euros, and if we go ahead and enter an amount, you can see it's properly changing. So 1 Bitcoin right now in the United States costs 16,000. But that's going to go ahead and do it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I will be doing a lot more SwiftUI videos. And go ahead and drop any recommendations for any projects you would like to see. And I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one.